peace must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.
The creation of African Continental Free Trade Area is a step forward for the African integration, and it is very much welcome both by Africans in Africa and those in diaspora. The creation of such is the only second one since the formation of World Trade Organization in 1994, and is only compared to the size that can compete if it works in Africa. 1.3 billion people will benefit out of this free trade that has been signed and endorsed by 54 heads of state. After several years of up and down in the valleys of Africa and the mountains of Africa, we finally came to a conclusion that this has to happen, which brings us to the dream of Kwame Nkrumah when he said, at least building a block by block, Africa will one day unite to stand as a united continent. But are the members of this African Union committed? Will they implement what they have decided? Today, in several countries, we see signs of xenophobia, the lack of patriotism amongst the younger generation, the lack of employment, the unemployment, the mistreatment of the young, the youth, those who need jobs, the corruption, the amount of corruption that has eaten the entire continent of Africa could hamper the free trade that we are anticipating on the continent. What measures, therefore, have African heads of state put in place to ensure that those who lag behind, those who drop out, must be penalized? We should not sign the document for the sake of documents, but we should sign documents for practical reasons that we shall implement what Africa needs today. Can it happen in our times? Is it going to happen? Is integration a mirage? Is integration worth going to happen? Will it happen? What has happened about the present blocks that have started integration process? What have they done? Is Africa integrating? Thank you.
peace must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.
The creation of African Continental Free Trade Area is a step forward for the African integration, and it is very much welcome both by Africans in Africa and those in diaspora. The creation of such is the only second one since the formation of World Trade Organization in 1994, and is only compared to the size that can compete if it works in Africa. 1.3 billion people will benefit out of this free trade that has been signed and endorsed by 54 heads of state. After several years of up and down in the valleys of Africa and the mountains of Africa, we finally came to a conclusion that this has to happen, which brings us to the dream of Kwame Nkrumah when he said, at least building a block by block, Africa will one day unite to stand as a united continent. But are the members of this African Union committed? Will they implement what they have decided? Today, in several countries, we see signs of xenophobia, the lack of patriotism amongst the younger generation, the lack of employment, the unemployment, the mistreatment of the young, the youth, those who need jobs, the corruption, the amount of corruption that has eaten the entire continent of Africa could hamper the free trade that we are anticipating on the continent. What measures, therefore, have African heads of state put in place to ensure that those who lag behind, those who drop out, must be penalized? We should not sign the document for the sake of documents, but we should sign documents for practical reasons that we shall implement what Africa needs today. Can it happen in our times? Is it going to happen? Is integration a mirage? Is integration worth going to happen? Will it happen? What has happened about the present blocks that have started integration process? What have they done? Is Africa integrating? Thank you. Good afternoon, viewers. Welcome to Punchline Africa TV, broadcasting all the way from Nairobi, the Republic of Kenya. Viewers in Nairobi, those heading for Christmas, is Sunday, 22nd of December, 2019, the year of our Lord. Here in the studio, this is the only Pan-African station that talks about politics of Africa, what ails Africa, the economy of Africa, the social life of Africa. Together with me in the studio is none other than co-presenter, anchor, researcher of our organization, Miriam Ogutu. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you.
Yes, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
How was the church?
The church was
We are going to continue to work for the people of Africa, and we shall continue to do what we can do best in order to bring about peace in our continent. And thank you very much. Today, Africa Showdown, we have quite a number of interesting topics, ranging from Kenya first, what next for the Big Four in the coming year, points that President Uhuru Kenyatta must look at specifically in order to get the Big Four going. And then, is Kenya going to heal at all with the type of utterances, with the type of alliances? Is somebody trying to create a war in this region? You will see some of the events pointed to what I have been predicting here, that if Kenyans don't heal first, if Kenyans don't stop that hatred, the hatred that they have for each other, some people might seek, some people are being advised, some people want to think like Karl Marx, they want to think like Lenin. They think there is a place in Kenya where the Tsars of Russia have eaten. Therefore, you need to change. Someone is pumping wrong politics in this country. You be careful, Kenyans. Some of us have seen this somewhere else. And it begins that way. I am not a prophet. I'm not near Elijah. Neither am I near Jesus. But I'm telling you, the way things look, we are in trouble. Is healing possible in Kenya? The president brought a BBI. It seems people have run with it in different directions. They are tearing it to pieces. Some are planning some other things. There is something that you cannot defeat, Matanga. That I have been in this game for 46 years. I've been a rebel for 46 years. 46 years, since 1978. Excluding the days when I was in a senior secondary school. I've also nurtured people. There is nothing you can hide from me in this region. And when I tell you something, take it seriously. Those who have ears, hear. And those who have eyes, see. Someone is preparing something. A fallback position. But it will be known. Mark you, 46 years as a rebel. Well organized in Tanzania, not a rebel, a soldier. Well trained, well nurtured. That's why you see I'm like this. Taught how to trim my hair, to look after my clothes, cleanness, strict instructions. That's why I look like this. But I'm telling you, there is something which is not, picking up. President Uhuru Kenyatta brings the BBI. People seem to have jumped to another stage. They say we like it, then they say no, but this, but that, but that, but that, but that. People point fingers, Raila, this is doing this, Raila is doing that. You see, all this, they started like that in 2007. I was here, I saw. I'm telling you, something is not right. From last week, you could see, we talked of politics, rented politics, martyrdom politics, hostage-taking politics. Perhaps the wretched earth, which Museveni wrote in Dar es Salaam University, gaps. And I'm saying, those who did not know that our president, my president Museveni, wrote a thesis on the wretched earth by Fenoni Fanzi. That's all. He has never written anything very useful to humanity except that. So pick that thesis in the Salam University. If you don't, you send your email, I'll send it for you. I went to research and I picked all that and I brought out the thesis of teaching fixed violence. A fixed violence, sweep the wretched, clear the field, clear it. You will see when we come to Uganda, any signs of reconciliation. With the opposition, we are heading to elections. South Sudan, there is a symbol of hope, hopes of peace. At last, our shouting has made Riak, and thank you very much, Dr. Riak Macha, for listening to my small advice. And thank you very much for tuning in every time quietly. And thank you very much. I'm told you enjoy my program, so I will add there, this is your son you left behind. I've not let you down, but don't worry. Don't worry. We shall be there. We shall be there. We shall be there. Sudan, South Sudan will be peaceful. Zimbabwe, today is the Unity Day. We are going to talk about it. Miriam will ask questions.
Yes, indeed.
What is Unity Day, what it is, what way forward for Emerson Mnangagwa. E.T. Mnangagwa, my brother, a few weeks ago, I told you, we better move. We better move towards the reconciliation. Chamisa, look at your country. It needs that hand, all hands together, move. There is nothing better than the war that was there between Joshua Nkomo and Robert Mugabe. But they moved on. Cameroon, Ambazonia, too near yet too far. The peace looks a mirage in Cameroon. We shall look at it today. Any questions you want to ask this expert. I'm here, and Miriam is here. She can ask her to ask me. I'm here to answer any questions, any political science questions, any international intelligence systems questions. I'm here to take them. Nothing will defeat me. Right from Mossad, CIA, KGB, which is now Russian intelligence, and all agencies. I'll tell you what is going on, because I studied the subject of international relations among the Bazungu themselves, not in Makerere University.
Well, Makerere University.
But Makerere University formed my basis.
Still remains one of the
yes, one of the best, and
we have in this.
Yeah, and we should keep the name of Makerere University. We are coming.
Okay.
We are coming. People are I think so many. Have you seen the reactions of Ugandans? Serious people in Uganda have reacted.
I was just even.
Oh my God!
Reading about it just a while ago, and we will talk about
Don't
it.
worry. You see, if you have been looking for embarrassment, you get it. You get it. You get the embarrassment. And they are going to embarrass. You will see. It's a big embarrassment. Even that chancellor, vice chancellor, is being held by Museveni. Museveni just got that guy from his village. Otherwise, he has no support with the students. Let them come back. Let them come back. That plaque will be down. I'm telling you. People are mad. I am not. Mine is Calcutta University, Calcutta House, and the Lumumba Party, where they just spent on the 4 days during Idi Amin, and they told us to leave. Ken does. So there you are. There are reactions. Yesterday, the deputy president of Kenya was in Uganda. So we shall need reactions. Always Uganda topics, I leave them to Miriam to bring them up. Because some people think, those who hate, they might think I'm doing something. I want to speak neutrally. And as you know, I'm not part of any contest of the Ugandan politics. So when I speak here, don't apportion blame on me. Tanzania, is it a target of the West? It looks that Tanzania is being targeted again. The West is targeting another country in Africa. They are demonizing President Magufuli. They have never forgiven Nyerere for Ujamaa villages of a communist style. Remember, most Africans don't know. These guys don't forget. These guys don't forget. They will never forget. They can keep quiet, but they never forget. They fix you. The Tanzanians now are being fixed for the Ujamaa villages. The Nyerere concept. Zimbabweans are fixed for Mugabe concept. South Africans are being fixed. Frelimo is being fixed for Machel. Congo is being fixed for Patrice Lumumba. The only country that has escaped the fixing is Ghana. Nana Addo is their man. But a man who stands to say, you, why do you come to lecture to us? He's lucky. His economy is stabilized. He has stabilized their ethics because Rawlings did a very good job by killing all these generals. General Achapong, every general. You know, part of the problem that Africa has, sort it Rawlings way. All the generals were done. He put them on firing squad, said let's start afresh. Ghana today is ahead. Is ahead. And that is what politics in Africa is. Rwanda today is ahead. But they still are not happy with Rwanda. They still want to overthrow Kagame. They want to overthrow Kagame.
Kagame has said he wants to leave now.
Yes, no, they want to overthrow him. We know. We know. And for me, I speak frankly. If you hate me, go to hell first. Then we meet there. Yes, Kagame has stabilized that region. If he leaves now, there can be turmoil. But they want him out. Wherever they sit, they plan. They have used so many. I told you there was a proxy war here in East Africa. You people said Matanga makes noise. Look at my face again. There is a proxy war. They want Kagame done. Why should Uganda close a border, and why should Rwanda close a border? Why? Seven, tell me. 2020, Mzee, I'm gonna be bad news. These small boys you play about, the messages. There is a bigger McCoy. When he goes back to his roots. Oh yeah. Well, I want to reason. You know, in 1991, I asked Professor Twado, yes, the man who failed me twice. He failed me twice. Because he wrote a book, The Sowing of the Mustard Seed. So I went to his office, knocked his door in London School of Oriental and African Studies called SOAS. I said, my friend, Were you a soldier before? No. I am a soldier. Why are you failing me? It's my essay, not English. I wrote a document which was very clear. There was a meeting in London School of Oriental and African Studies. I put up my hand and I asked Professor Twado that when you wrote this book, The Sowing of the Mustard Seed, did you see the seed? That was the question I asked as a student. By then I was a student. I didn't know I had annoyed the man who had written the book of my president. But I wrote a thesis. Democracy in Uganda, is it a myth or reality? That is my thesis. I have not published it. People wanted to kill me. I kept quiet. But now, prepare for it. I wanted the people to see today what I predicted in 1991 when I was in my master's school. I predicted it. That at one time, you can have no reality. You have a myth. Have we seen where we are going? My nation is torn apart. No healing. Cameroon, too near, yet too far. We shall look at that. Nigeria, a giant, a collapsed giant of Africa. What a shame. What a shame. Those are our topics this afternoon. Miriam, over to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and thank you, our viewers, for joining us. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I see some viewers from Australia there, and a lot of other ardent viewers here. So thank you so much for joining us, as Dr. Matanga has already outlined our topics of the day. And of course, the first one is on Kenya, and on under Kenya there, what next for the Big Four agenda? Dr. Matanga, even as President Uhuru Kenyatta perhaps sits down and takes note on what has been the progress he's made in terms of the Big Four agenda in the year 2019 so far, what will be the next plan, or what would you advise the president to look at coming 2020?
Thank you very much, Miriam. The first thing that I would like to advise and maybe state here that the president can handle is successfully among the Big Four, the health, universal health care seem to have picked some ground. Your Excellency, stick there. That is article number 1. That is number 1. The healthcare system will work, can work, is able to be modified, it is able to be piloted in several other places. So, Your Excellency, stick there. Let people look at the universal health care, which is very, very important for Kenya. It can work in the pilot counties. If people can contribute to the national health service per month, you go to hospital, you are treated. The only thing that we should do is to copy the British NHS system, where each location has a GP. And then we see where we can fill GPs so that clinics can serve some smaller diseases to avoid the crowding in bigger hospitals. That one is working. Number 2, the question of unity of purpose. Mr. President, touch there, keep it there. Keep it there. You can leave a legacy with a united Kenya. A united Kenya, not divided Kenya. A united Kenya. Whoever takes over Kenya after his departure, there will be a legacy of unity of purpose. Elections have been very divisive in Kenya. They kill people, they maim people, they slaughter people, they destroy property in Kenya. Let's fix the elections. Your Excellency, you are on course. Point number 3 is very clear. It's the question of, point number 3 is devolution. Devolution must be stronger. You see, there are 2 things that the government, the entire Kenyan population has gone wrong on devolution. Devolution does not work without evolution. And let me say this for the last, because anyone who wants to challenge me, let's write a paper if you want. You cannot do devolution without evolution. You need evolution. You need evolution. You need to evolve this. Some parts of this country, the roads are so bad that people are arguing whether this is a road for the government or for the governors. Some people cannot even carry the food that is needed for export. The roads, the president, the central government has done very well on the highways and other places reachable. But let's now evolve. Do we take the entire road works to the governors, give them the money to look in the locations, which road is more important to be done so that the people have access to the main road? Feeder roads must be either taken over by the government, evolved by, or taken back to, this is, devolution can only work with evolution. Evolution.
And when you say evolution, I think perhaps when the BBI report was being launched the other day, perhaps the team there must have mentioned evolution, but in a different manner, because they were saying that one of the things that they were finding that it's acting as an impediment to proper, rolling out of devolution, because a couple of years later, we are still struggling really, and people are still struggling because the things that are supposed to trickle down to the Mwananchi are still challenging, and the Mwananchi are not able really to get the services and some of these things that are supposed to be enjoying by devolution. But also, one of the things that was mentioned there in the BBI report is the fact that the local government, because there has been a problem with the money, the counties are saying we don't have enough money to carry out our developmental agendas there. But also we've seen the audit report over and over again reveal that a huge chunk of the money that is being taken to the counties, the county managers there, that is the governors and the local governments there, they don't really channel this money to developmental projects, but instead it is channeled to things that are really ridiculous in form of entertainment and tea at work and things like that. So huge monies go to things that shouldn't be happening. So also now it was questioned, how can these local governments now account for even the taxes that they're getting from, because as much as they want to cry the national government. Because,
Miriam, the law is not very clear. The law is not very clear on, let the law be very honest. Either they collected the taxes and the central government says collect 80% of the taxes remain within you, 20% give it to us. Let there be, it is not clear. People are gambling. There is something to gamble there. Devolution and the central government gamble on what is supposed. Don't gamble. Evolve. For example, we had one whole year doctors were on a strike. Yet this department had been evolved, has been sent to devolution. Why didn't we evolve it first? Structures.
Slowly, yes.
Structures. There was no payroll. There was no pay list. There was nothing for the doctors. Doctors could not be paid from the developed units. So why don't we develop everything? Let the BBI stick on the area and say, these are the things we want to develop. Let the central government not touch them. That's what that Museveni in Uganda has done.
That Museveni in Uganda.
Yes, Museveni has allowed devolution, decentralization of
some services.
Of services.
But you mentioned health there that I think I've always wondered, and from what we've seen since health has been devolved, the same way education is still with the national government, I strongly feel this is something too sensitive and too important to be left to these governors, because we've seen how they've mishandled the health docket. So I believe that perhaps we must have, perhaps it was devolved too quick. As you say, there were supposed to be like structures before health was fully devolved was left to the county government. So I think that perhaps that should be reconsidered, so that health, together with education and other things, may be left with the national government, and the county governments can take care of the little clinics and stuff like that. Because we've seen how much Kenyans are suffering after the Ministry of Health was left to the counties. It has not worked out very well for us as Kenyans.
Because the law is not clear. Kenya, like an African country, faces what we call structural challenges. Structural challenges are part of the burden that Kenya has. We have duplicity of work. And I believe the president, in these last 2.5 years, should narrow down his cabinet, call it an economic stimulus government, an economic delivery, a hope, economic cabinet, a cabinet that can look at the pockets of the people, the government that can bring the services, not a cabinet that does politicking. Mm-hmm. This is what the president should focus on as he goes for his holiday, wherever he is or wherever he is seated. Let him focus on that. It would be a disservice for us as a medium talking to people and fail to point out the problems that Kenya is facing. Kenya faces structural challenges. Structures are too many. The Minister of Agriculture, Mr. Kiyunjuri, should not have a flag by 1st of January. The PS Agriculture should not have a flag. They should go. They have mixed up. The entire Kenya is an agricultural-based country. In the economy, most of them depend on, if you don't have people feeding in the villages, if you don't have people knowing what to do, what to plant, what cows to buy, what this, there will be no economy. However much you have money, there won't be economy. The agriculture is the springboard of Kenya's economy.
It is the backbone.
If you have a wrong minister in a wrong docket like a Kiyunjuri, whose role is to just do politics every day against the president, that one should leave now. The president should know that Jesus never entered Jerusalem with any disciples. Show me where Jesus entered. Let's bring the Bible. He got a whip. He got a donkey. From Jericho, he rode. He sent disciples ahead that go in the village. You will find a donkey, a farmer with a donkey, and ask for the donkey and say, "Ye, Your Excellency, go in the village and ask for the donkey." And ask the people of Kenya. They are saying, we don't have several things, we don't know. Agriculture ministry is gone. The people are gambling in agriculture ministry. Get a whip. Arrive with a whip, whip them out.
Yes, indeed. And just to add on your point, because one of the things that we are discussing right now and we're looking at as what next for the Big Four agenda, and I think I'm with you on that, because for President to really, I know he's sitting down and taking stock in how far he's come with the Big Four agenda and how much he's been able to achieve and what he plans to do next. But in the planning to what to do next, starting next year, I think he has to get the right people and put them in the right places so that they are able to implement some of these agendas that he
Exactly.
has. If he does not do that, it will continue to
Exactly,
be
Miriam.
he will not realize.
Exactly, my sister. If the president does not focus on who should run the dockets, there's no need of having 22 people gossipers. Gossipers. They gossip. They gossip. Yeah. The only thing that happened in this country this year which made some people happy was the ruling on Friday. Am I wrong?
The ruling on Friday?
Yeah, the Friday ruling of Court of Appeal.
Yes, about the case that is facing...
That the governors leave. If you are caught putting your hand in the money, why tutu sonko nani uko akona kukanyaga uko.
At least until your case is over.
That is,
not forever.
That one gave relief to people, to Kenyan people. People had some sense of feeling.
So the judiciary is doing good on that now.
Yes.
They have upped their especially now when it comes to corruption, because they had been seen...
Because we had, Miriam,
as the weakest link.
You know why the judiciary is doing that? We made the noise here. We said we were aware that some people wanted to frustrate Waititu case. Even we printed material of 2 million, 5 million changing hands. You know, this media also helps to whip back.
This one?
Yes.
Okay.
This one has helped, yes. We have helped, we have to take a credit. Do you see any KTN citizen saying the things we say? We say it to help the president. We say it. They don't want him. They don't want him to be on front line page. Even when he has gone to score to bring money, they don't want his picture here. People buy to be, you know, you come on the Uganda issue, I will make you laugh today. How people arrived where the report that has been brought to me, the intelligence report, is very, oh my God. Oh my God. You know, you kill yourself. God does not cheat. You know, there are things, Miriam, God doesn't cheat. You can do these things, overstretch. But now when you overstretch, you are caught there. The hand, you want to remove, it is difficult. This thing here, he said, what? Oh, is this the generation? Is this the leadership? Why can't we just belong to Italy?
Why? The mafias of... I think I'm better off here. I can just visit Italy and come back. I don't want to be...
La Vera. What is it called?
That one.
That one. That man who took our money. That Italian mafia came here, that time, took the money. But by the way, surely Kenyans, do you really know that there is a problem here? When you sit down and you don't talk, they even say, where is Matanga? He's not talking. They provoke me, they insult me. Let me tell you, on Friday evening, some stupid people, advanced party of the deputy president went to Kampala, and they started circulating a stupid rumor that Matanga is telling Makerere University students to do what? Me, David Matanga. Stupid. To do what? To do what? That's to demonstrate. What do I have? And I'm going to name them now. I'm going to name them. To do what? They started circulating a rumor on Facebook to demonize me. I don't have a problem. I don't have money myself. I have never bought any degree in my life. I washed toilets from London to Glasgow and Edinburgh while reading the book in the toilets. Oh, please, get me out of this. Until another gentleman called me, who has been a very good, understanding man since 2009. And I want to thank you, sir, for calling me. That is this true? I said, what? About what? I've never spoken to Uganda. Look at my phone. I have nothing to speak to Uganda about. I am not involved in Uganda politics. I don't like it. And let people know it. From the time I finished and brought peace in northern Uganda, Miriam, I have never, and I don't want to be involved in cheap politics. Cheap politics, not leveled. I am internationally exposed. We're internationally. I can wrestle. I will be waiting for Museveni's petition to arrive at the ICC. Help him. Help him. I'm going to help him because I hate ICC. I hate ICC. I'm waiting for Besige and the rest to collect the petition. When it goes to ICC, I will defend Museveni. I'm that one. I'm beyond that. I struggle with Mazungu, not with these people here. This one. No. They are not my status. They have never removed me from trouble. I have removed them from trouble. No. Today I've spoken in my life. Me, I stand. Anything, any African, Miriam going to ICC, I will not accept. As long as I'm alive. So I'm waiting for Besige and the others who are collecting signatures. I will stand, defend Museveni. Because I hate ICC. Let Museveni here. I don't need to be a medium. I don't need a medium to speak to President Museveni. I have his numbers, 8 of them. 8. He gave them himself to me. When I met him, they have not changed. I don't need a medium. I don't need anyone to say, on ICC, I will help him. If the case reaches that stupid woman, I will defend Uganda. I will defend. There are 2 things I don't like in Africa. Sanctions against Africa and that stupid amorphous organization called ICC. That goes on looking for African tall ones and the short one. Sang is very short like this. Can't walk near this counter. The other one is tall. Uhuru Kenyatta is tall. Those ones I stand against. I will defend. Once an African is there, haven't I? Where is Said Gaddafi? He's out. Where is Pabugo? He's out. Where is Bemba, my friend? Bemba is out. Go and see the website of ICC. I have written, I have applied, I have made applications. I'm not boasting. I'm not writing for a peanuts from Ruto to give me a penny. No. Nobody has saved me. I saved the people. And let this go down well today, Miriam. When every Kenyan was running away from these guys, I am the only soul that stood firm and said I will stand by them. They are not the type of people, because NGOs went and collected evidence, fabricated it, procured witnesses, and planted on these people. So don't twist the story. My story is very clear. I don't need anybody at all. For me, the problem I have with President Museveni and the little people, in case I'm killed in the way, is very simple. My money. He never paid my money for allowances of the peace. The EU was going to pay my money. Riak is listening. Today I told Riak, called him to listen. That's my money even if I go to the grave today. Even if you want to kill me, pay my children to have that money. Your two people ate the money. Chambade ate that money. She was the PPS directed to send me $342,000 of our allowances. I and Alabeja, two peace envoys. We are peace envoys. We are not LRA. We are not combatants. We brought peace for you. You refuse to pay my money. Don't speak the story about me. Give me my money and then kill me. I will be very happy. And I will tell God I was killed, but I've left my money to my children. Thanks God they have started. That is all. I don't have any problem. So don't go there where your suits and talk about Matanga. I am not part of it. That's the only problem I have. And I've told the president, I've told Rugunda, I've written to Rugunda letters. He doesn't want to talk. I'm going to write another one tomorrow and publicize it so that my money, they know the money. It is not them to give me. It is not a bribe. The European Union, all ambassadors, African Union, UN had put money for the peace process. They were going to pay. The president stood in a meeting in front of other presidents and myself, in Chisano is a witness, said, I will pay Matanga's money. Because he's a Ugandan, he has done a good job. These guys took away the money. Amelia Chamba, they took the money, ate it. She was the principal private secretary of the president. And they let the State House in Kampala investigate where did that man of Matanga go. I don't want to be talked about. I've suffered enough. I've lost my father. I've lost my wife. I've suffered enough of that regime. I don't have any money that I got. If Kony had killed me, I would have died like that. Had I been a Munyankore, my money would have been given. So you eat the money, but don't talk about me. If it is here, I can go back and I'll stay where I can stay. That is all. I don't have any discussion. Today I've spoken it. Dr. Riak Machar is there. He knows the letters are there. I don't want to publish these letters in public. I'm not a reactionary. I'm not a reactionary. I'm a revolutionist, like President Museveni. We have been together in the same school of thought, only that he's older than me by 10 years. I don't react by going to court. I've just been very candid because I grew up in a Christian family that used to cane me to learn the 10 Commandments. It's my money. Ask anybody. 2 people were not paid in the whole world. The peace is growing. The peace has grown. Is there, as the president seen me going anywhere to say I want to do this? No. The problems will befall them themselves, not me. My mandate was not to look for coin in the Central African Republic. My mandate was to bring peace in northern Uganda. I brought it. My mandate was to return over 120,000 men. Are they not in Uganda? Are they not in Uganda? Are they not in Uganda? Are they not trained? Hey, hallelujah. Are they not there? I have never talked to any, because I respect peace. I want peace. So these things of confusing me, me to be eaten every time like if ugali kukumunakula jina yangu. Kwa nini? Kwa nini? Kwa nini jamen? My children see me being eaten on Facebook. I have grown up children. The last born is 21. 8 of them. Number 8 is 21. Why do you make me feel your children are better than me? Than mine? They see me being eaten as if I've done what? Is it better? Some of them this morning asked me, Dad, what have you done to these people? If it is possible, come and we share what we have to protect your name. Because I have also children who have produced other children. Okay? I have children who will stand as MPs now, not Matanga. I have children who can stand as members of parliament at the past. Not me. So why should I be the one eaten every time? Eat my name, eat my name. You took my money. Your PPS did not deliver the money. Then the president asked the minister of trade, Chambade, where did you put Matanga's money? If you are really credible man, ask. Don't put me in two things every time. Talk about Matanga. I don't have Asians that I carry to show around. I don't. Don't carry mercenaries. No. I've had enough. You Kenyans watch this. You are going to see. I have no problem. That's it. People mushrooming a story from Kampala. Nobody. Okay. They went and opened. Was there anything? Nothing. No. Who shouted? Nobody. Now people themselves, Ugandans are reacting. You wait the week. MPs, several of them, over 300, over 200 MPs are saying, no way. It's not Matanga. I don't belong to that system. I've never worked for that NRM system over my dead body. I can't have this problem every day. Please leave me alone out of this. I've had enough. Miriam, take over the program now. Let me go home. I have had enough of this. Every day. I have never laundered money across the border to that place. Those who have laundered are enjoying it. I've told you I've been in a fight for 46 years. 46 years of my life. It means I started a fight at the age of 17. Check down. Do you think you can do things that people don't know? So musiweke jina yangu kwa mambo yenyu. Sina pesa. This motion of President Museveni is going to arrive in the ICC. He will need me. He will need me tomorrow. He will need me. I swear in the name of God, it's going to arrive. Nobody is going to block it. It's going to arrive there. I cannot append a signature on a motion that is going to take an African to the ICC. Never, never, never. Let God cut my hands. Slowly, the signatures have grown. They have grown in big numbers, especially the people in the diaspora. They have signed like hell. And there is credibility. Someone is talking of, there is credibility in some of, they have stated credible reasons. look, like a Buhari is slaughtering Igbo people. Buhari is killing the Igbos in southeastern Nigeria, tying younger men on vehicles and pulling them, 2 of them pulling them on a vehicle. Every day is happening in Buhari. Now you will say Buhari, you will not be charged.
So in case you're wondering the backdrop of that story that Dr. Matsanga is talking about, yesterday Deputy President William Ruto's growing alliance with Uganda and specifically President Yoweri Museveni gained fresh impetus with the inauguration yesterday of the William Ruto Leadership Institute at the Makerere University. Now, this is a story in the Sunday Nation. So we skip that line and then go to, now amid murmurs of discontent among a section of the Makerere University academics over the decision to have the institute. The invitation letter lists 7 goals of the institute, which include developing innovative ways of teaching and learning about Africa. So, in a nutshell, even the the staff at the Makerere University, the academic heads, the bigwigs there, they're not happy with the opening of this leadership that has been named after our Deputy President, Mr. William Ruto. And also, after being questioned, is the Deputy President's intentions with the launch of the institute in his name, given that he is not an alumni of Makerere University. So it's been questioned, why was even this institute being named after his name? Well, there are suggestions. Regional politics could be at play as the Deputy President strategizes for presidency, but with an eye on the East African community. So that could be. But also the Makerere academics raised questions about Kenya's Deputy President character as a role model to have. So I'll quote just one of the quotes here given. An entire institute dedicated to him once said the Kenyan Deputy President is not the kind of leader we should be hosting. So those are some of the murmurs that from the academic.
No, it is.
At the look, it
is from this Christmas, after Christmas, people have already positioned. I don't think that the professor is going to have a good time. The vice chancellor has a problem. Everybody has rebelled, not me. So it's a shame. It's a very big shame. Mm-hmm. Not for me. I'm not a part of it. Mm-hmm. But I wouldn't like to do things where I have done all these things. Have you seen Kenya giving me even a medal? Have you seen Kenya giving me a medal? I went to the ICC, the only person, the only African, they give medals to foreigners. But have you seen this government giving me even a medal? Have you seen? I don't want it because I don't want to cause controversy. You get my point? So I wouldn't like, I wouldn't like that Kenyans get their medals. I did my job. Everybody knows. If you go to ICC and say Matanga, every judge will go to the toilet. Isn't it? We'll go to Susu first, quickly, then come back. If you go to ICJ, that Somali man could run through the window. Because I went there, I faced it. I know international law. I studied there. I studied not in these places. I studied there, with the professors there themselves who write those books that Africans read every day. So I know how to challenge them. I know the loopholes of international law. Where is the Somali case of Kenya? Is it there? It's going to dwindle slowly. If Farimajo does not come, we shall force him out. He wants to win the election. Yes. Farimajo and that small prime minister, that small one in Mogadishu, that thief from Norway, you know?
But also on this matter here, there's something that the academics, the Makerere academics raised this question of Kenya's Deputy President William Ruto not being the right role model to even be given an institute in his honor. Does this hold credibility?
Leadership school, I don't know.
Is it a mockery?
No,
Is it
no.
a mockery of the institution?
That is okay, but now...
Naming him.
No, listen, ramifications are beginning.
Okay.
You see, in political science, when you go, you can be laughing. You know, these younger men laugh all the way because they have money. Hey, Mr. Ahmed says, I go to Mogadishu, they will give me the highest reward medal. I think you want to kill me in Mogadishu, Mr. Mo Mohammed.
Is he here?
Is he there? He has written, no. Look, ramifications of this Makerere thing is going to be bigger than regrets. One would regret never to sink his name into it. Because the battle just began yesterday. The guys like Besige, the students themselves have summoned to come back. They were on recess.
Oh no, for their holiday, for the Christmas holiday.
Yes.
But
so they are now beginning to query, what is this? It's not me. The Kenyan politicians who are in Uganda, they have their people. Not Matanga. I don't have any. They are there. You saw the people are quoting. Daily Nation, is it writing from the blue? No. It's quoting serious sources.
Because I think they had their reporter there yesterday.
Yes.
To cover the event.
People are not comfortable. So ramifications, the worst thing in political science is to be rejected.
Yeah, rejection.
That's why I have avoided, Miriam, I have avoided a medal here. And I thank President Uhuru Kenyatta for never suggesting my name. Do you think I don't befit a medal here? I single-handedly went to ICC to get some people out. Not the lawyers. Lawyers did their part however, whereas cognizant of this. No, but international politics needs a man who has... I did not care whether I was going... You know I was going to be imprisoned 5 years. Good 5 years. Ocampo wanted me imprisoned for 5 years. I would have ended up in Belmarsh, where Taylor is.
Charles Taylor.
For tampering with witness number 4, OTP 4. Today, 22nd October, 22nd December, on this day in 2015, I wrote an article. And I think time does not cheat, Miriam. It is better, as we leave this subject, for you to read this article for Kenyans, so that some Kenyans can feel some shame.
But this is the first time I'm hearing of somebody going to inaugurate something that has been written or had planned in their honor, and then people around that are not happy, and they're even challenging why. This is the first time I'm hearing of such a thing.
This is Facebook, and the records don't lie. Just show to the people. 22nd December 2015, I wrote an article.
This was in 2015?
Yes. I wrote. You read it for them.
So another, almost everything in the William Ruto and Arab Sang case is either overbaked or half-baked in legal terms, and most of the evidence is fake with doctored documents and evidence. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. So this was the same time last year. This is actually a memory from
it's a memory of Facebook. It brought it today. I think it had so many people were talking about me. It brought a memory. And here you find that short sang man saying, what did he do? You find His Excellency the Deputy saying, what did he do? This is an article of 2015. I'm writing. I'm filing an application. I'm being called vexatious on rule number 68. What didn't I do? God help me. God help me. It's here. It's not fake. What did I do wrong? So, if you look at all these ramifications are bigger than the venue yesterday. Ugandans are coming out of the holidays, then you will see.
But
the leader of opposition already, they have summoned a meeting tomorrow. Everybody will call upon that thing to be brought down.
It is that serious.
You have heard.
Because it's Makerere University,
yes.
Come on now. And but the ramification, I mean, where does this leave now our deputy president? This is not a very good look for him at all. This is the first time I'm hearing of such a thing. You know, you have a placard there with your name and people are contesting. Why is it even there? Okay, so perhaps his office will issue a communication about that, because now this is not a very good look for our deputy president. Man, this is not good, especially coming from the academics staff there at Makerere, who have a right to complain there, and they're questioning.
No, Professor Nawangwe, or whatever you call him. This is a man who has mismanaged Makerere University. He has destroyed what was once the best university in entire Africa. We are in trouble, my sister. We are in trouble. But he is the head of a mafia, academic mafia, you know, propelled by, you know, the mafia, the money magnates. You saw those Bahindi, those two Bahindi. You know them. Do you know them?
The ones who were present yesterday. During the...
It's a shame. PR is a... Now we know. Anybody who was doubting me can now see. I told you. Can I have let's go on. Where our batteries are getting wasted on.
Let's go to South Sudan.
Let's go to South Sudan.
I think, can we just finish with Uganda? We're done with Uganda.
We are done now.
Okay, good.
The signs of reconciliation seem to be remote.
Okay.
For me, I reconciled and I finished.
Okay.
I have no problem. The only problem I have with President Museveni is my money. If he gives me one day, or he tells Rugunda, asks Rugunda, where did you take Matsanga's money? Because he's screaming the world everywhere. Because very soon I'm going to Sky News to scream about
your money.
Yeah, you are aware Sky News has given me a slot. So I look, I will scream my money. Had I died there, my children will suffer. But people really stole them. I can't blame, I don't know. I want an explanation. I've talked to Rugunda. He doesn't even, hello? He doesn't even explain to me what happened to this money. He doesn't. So that's it. God help us. Thank you very much, South Sudan.
Yes. And so South Sudan opposition leader right now, that is the latest there, Dr. Riek Machar is to be released from house arrest soon in order to enhance his participation in efforts with President Salva Kiir aimed at forming a transition government in February 2020. Now, Dr. Machar's continued incarceration in Khartoum, Sudan, has been one of the key grievances against the Intergovernmental Authority on Development, IGAD, the Eastern African security body. And so South Sudan's President Salva Kiir, of course, over last Tuesday, reached a deal with the former rebel leader Riek Machar on Tuesday to form a transitional unity government, even if they failed to resolve all their differences before the new deadline. So he has been removed from, he's allowed now to walk freely, because that has been one of the things that Mr. Machar has been looking for. What will this change? Will this hasten now the peace process?
Tuabino, February.
Doctor.
No,
Are you cautiously optimistic like I am? I'm afraid to even think that it will happen because they've lied or they've been unable.
Haven't you seen the international agencies scheming around the tribunal? They should not lie, react, and Salva Kiir that things are all right. The truth is that there is a country in Europe that has drafted a resolution to create a tribunal, and that country will pay for the tribunal. A UN tribunal. And the judges, it is up to African Union to select. They are doing it, and nobody should tell a lie. Nobody should tell a lie. Hello?
All right, so there you go. That is the latest on South Sudan. So, you know, Riek Machar has been, after he fled to the DRC, then to South Africa after the 2016, when they fell out with the president in the State House there in, is it Juba 1? Yes, the State House there in Juba. He was brought back by IGAD, and he's been in Khartoum there under house arrest more, very much.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's it. My friend Riek, I told him, please, come. You better come back and die in your country.
We don't want him dead.
No. If it.
But we need him to come back.
He needs to come back.
Yes.
Now everybody knows there is a tribunal. You see, George Kurune and the Pedicast are CIA operatives. They laid the ground for this tribunal, Jamen. Don't you see it? Don't you see it? They wrote a report, a very damning report.
And after that report, Doctor, there has been several reports.
Coming and they opened a Pandora box, including countries like Kenya are being sacked.
Yes.
So,
numerous of
the problem with here, people who want to get per diem and tell lies. Me, I don't get per diem to tell a lie that I'm traveling to go here. No, don't waste time. It's like people who wasted the time that they're working on the Somalia case. I only went with bed and breakfast. That's it, isn't it? 3 times. And I'm waiting. Pakani dismantled that case. So, if you waste time and don't tell lies, this thing, there's a tribunal. I've seen the draft. There's a country in Europe which has a document. I've seen it. It's clean. It is just waiting. After these holidays, it is going to smoothen it. Then wait. It's in your 100 days. They're counting 100 days. Should there be no movement on the ground? Or should there be movement on the ground? Because, you know, Riek and Salva Kiir have found themselves in catch-22.
Not the right movement. There could be movement, but not the right one.
Want. Miriam, even if they sign this agreement in 100 days, there is already a tribunal. You know why? People are going to ask, so what is the agreement for? For politics. What about the people who died?
No accountability. All right. So do we?
I told Salva Kiir and his advisors to give me part of that money to make noise internationally than giving Mr. Reinberger. Mr. Reinberger went under fixed tribunal. Reinberger fixed Ruto and President Uhuru here. He fixed them. Reinberger is married to a Maasai lady, isn't it? Kalenjin lady. And they used that Kalenjin lady to be collecting information. Fix these guys. Reinberger. I have documents of Reinberger. I followed everything in ICC. Alaya Mungu. Then you say you are giving Reinberger to be your advisor. Are people mad? Who cast us Africans? Who cast us? Nani alikasi sisi? Who cast us? Maybe you know better. I can know.
Maybe I just skipped to Zimbabwe's, but that is the latest from South Sudan, and of course tomorrow we'll be here for the Good Morning Africa, and we shall update you on the latest. I think we need very up-to-date updates from South Sudan, so that we're able to keep up and see how are they doing, even as they work towards the deadline that is on the 22nd of February 2020. So now, Doctor, perhaps we should just keep over to Zimbabwe, and today Zimbabwe celebrates National Unity Day. That is the 22nd of December, that is today, to commemorate the signing by Robert Mugabe and Joshua Nkomo of the Unity Accord in 1987. The signing of the document ended a nationwide conflict that had existed since 1963 between the Zimbabwean African National Union, that is ZANU, and Zimbabwe African People's Union, that is ZAPU parties. And after the signing of this Unity Day, it appears it has been embedded into Zimbabwe's history. And it's a day that is commemorated yearly, and that is today they're commemorating it. So far, any lessons that Zimbabwe might have learned, or is still learning, or has learned from the signing of this peace deal between these two warring parties in 1987?
Yes, very good lessons. Zimbabwe united. The Ndebele and the Rishona became one. The war cost quite a lot of atrocities. People were dead, people were killed. But there is one important thing that remained. Zimbabwe remained a united, resilient nation. A resilient nation in the sense that even when the sanctions were put on Zimbabwe, Zimbabwe remained firm. It stood by itself amongst the people. Few people talked about what can they do to remove sanctions. We continue talking against sanctions. But there is something now which is new, and which I would like President Emerson Mnangagwa to focus on. That is the angle of unity, handshake. Do you do the Uhuru? You know, Uhuru Raila thing is like leprosy now. It's not what is this disease that catches infectious? It is moving everywhere.
It's like a flu.
A flu. It is catching every Africa. Every African leader is running to do a handshake with opposition, because we don't need elections in Africa. I've told you people, and the people always call me a fool when I say that. Do you need elections? Do you really need elections? For example, do you need elections in Kenya? You are Kenyan. Do you need elections? Do you know what elections are? What are elections? How many Kenyans know whether there is what is an election?
We get a chance to change these leaders.
And they change and do what?
and find us in problems like we always.
Exactly. You see?
But we still need
haven't got enough civic education to know what an election is in Africa. We better go the China way. China has no MPs. China has no MPs. It meets once in a week, in a year, 1 week. And it lends us money which we guzzle. We are guzzlers. Tunakula China. Africa eats China money. Everywhere. Haven't you seen the way they eat? Every leader is going to China. But China does not hold elections. Doesn't it teach you something? Why can't we emulate China? Why?
And even, Doctor, as Zimbabwe today celebrates the Unity Day today, the country is deeply divided, and you've mentioned there the handshake. Could this be the way to bring the country together? And how can they also, solve other issues outside of, the discontent that the opposition is still having over the elections that happened there in 2018, that they believe they lost unfairly? But that aside, outside of the politics, Zimbabweans are really divided under whatever divide. But how can also they reconcile and solve these other matters that are affecting the country, that
Which matters?
continues to affect their economy?
Reconciliation is there. If we knew the meaning of elections, Chamisa would not be making noise today. The Supreme Court in Zimbabwe ruled in favor and said, although there were a few mishaps, the election overall was very good. So after the Supreme Court has ruled, what else do you have? Do you even know what a Supreme Court is? Does Chamisa know what a Supreme Court is? He's an advocate of the court. Does he know that that's the final court in the country? Does he know? Anyway, I support fully the sentiments by South African former President Thabo Mbeki. He is the only person, he knows the problem from the beginning, he can resolve it, he can make these two leaders, let's give him support. Some of us are going to give him support fully, voluntarily, to make sure that the Zimbabwean people come together, sit down, and unite as Zimbabweans. Yeah.
All right, well said, and thank you for that, Doctor. So now we move to Tanzania, where is it a target of the West? And you've seen in the recent past, even the opposition, complaining in the manner in which the government is running the country's affair, and also they say they have been a target for very punitive laws, even of the changing of the constitution some times back. And they've also accused President Magufuli of stifling democratic space and curtailing the freedom of speech. And there's, I think, a law that was passed a couple of months ago that to regulate, the opposition parties in that country, the political parties in the country, and the opposition was not very pleased, and they thought they're being targeted unfairly by the government. And also, you've seen a number of international organizations, even countries, are removing funds they had intended to bring to Tanzania over the country's stand, especially President Magufuli, who has not been mincing his words when it comes to certain things or certain ideas or certain cultures that he said, if borrowed and brought to the country, will corrupt and are not very much welcome, and they're not African. And so this has really pitted him against the West. He's not in very good terms when it comes to our brothers from the Western world, President Magufuli. And so we've seen a lot of upheaval lately there in Tanzania. Doctor, what is happening in Tanzania?
What is happening in Tanzania is very laughable, in the sense that the West is just trying to victimize Tanzania. Tanzania did not understand the French conspiracies. Tanzania at first picked France to do the Tanga Mwanza Railway. The French have been trying to destabilize the southern part of Tanzania, in Ruvuma Valley, Nachingwea Valley, where Renamo rebels of south of Mozambique, a splinter group of Renamo rebels operating in the gas-rich area of Tete and the northern part and the southern part of Tanzania. The French gave very obnoxious conditions for them to complete the railway. Magufuli said no, he will not take it. So from that day, the French packed their things, that they went out to allow Mr. George Soros. The problem of Tanzania at the moment is George Soros' entry. Mr. George Soros is in Tanzania, not physically, but he has entered through Chadema. Chadema, who funds the Chadema? Who funds the Where does Chadema, has it got a factory? Has Chadema got mines? Who pays Chadema as a party? Who is the paymaster of Chadema. Chadema is the party that opposes CCM. I'm a great friend of CCM. A great friend of Nyerere. It would be very bad for me to sit here and watch Nyerere's party go down. But I've warned my African people that be careful. And I want to warn you again that if you have a revolutionary party in Africa, be on standby, be on the guard. They are working to bring it down. I've warned CCM, I've warned ANC, I've warned ZANU-PF, I've warned Frelimo, I've warned MPLA, I've warned NRM in Uganda. I speak with the facts of intelligence. What is happening in Tanzania is simple. Is simple. Simple, Miriam. Tanzania and the security agencies in Tanzania are very good. They have the best network of intelligence. I don't know what has happened. They should watch the NGOs. Money is coming bumped in. The person they want is to hurt the dead body of Nyerere. That Nyerere brought Ujamaa. Ujamaa villages taught Tanzanian social contract. Undugu, uutu. So they are not happy. That Mugabe removed the white supremacists, conquered them, got independence. They were never happy. Can you believe that international agencies say we shall not remove our headquarters from South Africa until Mandela dies? One agency told me like that. I said, oh, so you are waiting for Mandela to die, then you can move the headquarters from Johannesburg. He said, yes. It's very big news.
And why was that?
That is big news. So, because we Africans, the current setup of intelligence systems in Africa, they don't study the external forces that are against them. There is a very big external force against all revolutionary parties on the continent. And whoever they will get, they will injure. If they can injure CCM, fine. They are going to do it. Ask Besigye, where is the money for the party? Where does he get it? Ask Bob Wine, where does he get the money? Ask Chamisa, who buys your ticket? Ask Malema, who is paying you? Has Malema got a factory? Chadema, ask them, where do they get the money? Renamo, who is funding your activities? Ask MPLA, those who are opposed to MPLA, my in-laws. Ask Masisi and Akama, why a country in Africa that was stable democratically has gone to the dogs, is about to go to the dogs. Who is paying who? These are clear questions. Ask who is paying the opposition in the Swati Kingdom.
Swatini, I saw that they're having a problem there. Yes.
Let me relax. I studied the subject. Give me the kudos. This is the boy. You wake me up, I'll lecture for 5 hours. Who is giving the money to the opposition in Africa? In fact, let's tackle that topic tomorrow. Where is the money coming from? CCM should not sleep. Because the demonization culture starts with the target country. It's like, you know, the Western Hemisphere is like a virus. They target the cells. They surround the cell. They demonize the cell. Finally come and eat, push it.
So it's a very protracted,
white cells.
It's a protracted war against CCM.
Exactly.
Okay.
Why is Kagame being targeted? Why?
He's been there too long, no?
No. Why is Kagame?
And he was the darling a few years ago. What has changed?
If President Museveni did not have troops in Somalia, he would not be in power today. You want me to speak the truth? Aki. And this intelligence, these guys who call themselves external intelligence, well, if you don't study this trend, is complicated now. The one of Zimbabwe is even more precarious. We have to come in quickly and help ED. We are in trouble. They are funding organizations. They fund the opposition. Trump and George Soros quarrel in America, but they agree in Africa. Hello?
The alliance of the unholy.
Yes.
Okay.
If you go to New York, Trump Tower is this, George Soros Tower is this. Zinangaliana. They look at each other. Anybody who has been to New York, you know that. Why is it that if an African loaned us $1, he's extradited to United States? Why is it that George Soros has laundered money, banked money in Paris? Who has ever issued a warrant of arrest? That laundered money arrives here, buys our companies, makes money from our telecom companies. Strive Masiua of Econet. Where did he get this money?
The Zimbabwean.
Yes, where did Strive get money? From this stupid agency.
He's the richest man in Zimbabwe,
yes,
by the way.
He can't even buy food, even one borehole for Zimbabwe. Because the money is not his. He walks around enjoying the fruits, business class, this, but the money is owned by George Soros and the group in Paris. Alcatel. Alcatel. Have you ever heard of Alcatel? Oh, bring the topic tomorrow. Where is the opposition in Africa getting the money? I will eat it for 2 hours, non-stop, with credible evidence. Anybody who opposes this group is now. Have you seen why Museveni is being taken now? Why people are collecting signatures to take Museveni? Where are they taking him? Have you seen any country saying no, don't do it? Have you seen? Where did the money come from to get signatures? You need material printing these forms. Who is paying for the signatures to be corrected? I leave it to you, Ugandans. Thank you very much. Umeona? Here is here.
Okay.
So it's up to you to like me or hate me. But I'm telling you the truth. They bring the laundered money, trade in it. The same mafia use that money of George Soros. They are in Tanzania. They have given the NGOs. You know, I'm a friend of the Tanzanians. One of these days I'm coming maybe New Year. Nataka wa ndugu zangu niwaambie tutaki mavurugano, lakini mavurugano inatoka nje. Hawa wabeberu bado wanatuletea shida. They are fighting Nyerere's spirit of ujamaa. They have never forgiven Nyerere for standing firm and saying, I'll do socialism for my people, which has united Tanzania. They want to break Tanzania. Next, Cameroon.
Next, go to Cameroon, and a bill granting a special status to Cameroon's two Anglophone regions was passed by lawmakers on the 18th of December. This is seen as an attempt to ease 2 years of bloody violence. If the Senate approves the devolution law and it comes into force, the western areas where Amazonians are fighting government troops will be able to develop their own education and justice policy. Dr. Too near yet too far for a state for the Amazonia.
The only way to get Cameroon, to get peace in Cameroon, two state solution. I've already told Baroness Scotland, don't waste the time flying into Cameroon to do what? These Amazonians need a state of their own. Amazonians are fed up. Amazonians are being killed, maimed, tortured every day. Paul Obia is 89 years old. The wife buys hair for $1 million. $1 million. The hair of Paul Obia's ugly woman. You know, look at that. Are we mad? Are we mad in Africa? A man, you know, women in Africa kill our president. Women finish our president. You have forgotten. Look at what Mugabe. Mugabe was the best man on the continent of Africa. A woman called Grace Mugabe destroyed Mugabe. She went on beating everybody. She went on buying shoes when Zimbabweans were dying of hunger.
Melda Marcos of Africa.
Women in Africa destroy our Look at Samora Machel. Why have people forgotten about Samora Machel? This week I was mourning my people. Beneziro Buto, my classmate, thank you. Your soul rest in peace. We shall commemorate sometime 30th of December in Calcutta House in London. We shall gather there, and the candles and the flowers and the talk and the give lecture amongst us students of political science. We shall sit down and see what we can do. You've done us proud. You have gone, but we have not gone. Look at Ken Sarawiwa. Look at that. A man perished the same year, 24 years today, this year. Ken Sarawiwa was butchered by Abacha. Myself and Osuji, you know this Osuji who is the president of ICC. We used to stand at the Nigerian High Commission every Friday, collect our booze and come and sit there. Cans in a bottle and sit and watch and sing songs for the release of Ken Sarawiwa and this so-called Obasanjo and Chief Abiola. I want to thank the children of Chief Abiola and Ken Sarawiwa that I am still alive and active. We can do a memorial service anytime to talk about this. Let's also combine Samora Machel. People seem not to talk about Samora Machel. Destroyed by women. Revolutionaries go down because of women.
I don't know what to say, but I'll hold my peace.
Kabila, the father, he's my friend in Tanzania. We were together in Tanzania. I know the weaknesses. You see, women have destroyed it. Look, Paul Obia knows his people are dying. And you give a woman to go and buy hair for $1 million? Don't I tell you, my friend, you leave me if you want to leave, you go.
But also, Doctor, while we are on the issue of women, destroying some of the strong men we've had not just in Africa but across the world, another woman was actually trying to make the husband do the right thing, and I think that will be when we come to our next topic. There, the reason why President Buhari is in problems with the wife is because the wife was telling him off, and he was questioning his leadership skills, and he said in a BBC interview, "No, I think my husband has lost it, and he's not the way he's running his administration, and he's let other people assume responsibilities who are taking this country the wrong direction." And you know what Buhari told him? She should be quiet because her place is in the kitchen. So what do you do now when you have trying to...
both Madame Buhari
yes.
and Buhari should end up
the same person.
in court.
Okay.
They will go to court. Mm-hmm. How did she get $2.5 billion? It is in one of the banks in the United States of America. Mm-hmm. United States of America has not brought back that money to Nigeria, mm-hmm. a collapsed giant of Africa. It is accumulating interest, which builds Trump's aeroplane. Mm-hmm. Trump is using our money, which is banked there, to make more progress instead of giving it back. If you have captured such money, return it to the government and say you build a memorial for corruption. Did you hear that there was a corruption school in Nigeria that teaches corruption?
It teaches corruption, and there's also a hacking school, a fraud school, actually, an academy. And there's also an academy. And
I think in Kenya soon we might have, I hope we don't have it. And
they also have a convention for witchcraft. So if you want to. So Nigeria has everything.
So there you are, a crumpling agent. On Paul Biya, a two-state solution, that is it. Mm-hmm. It will bring peace to Cameroon. Less than that, shut up.
So that thing of giving a special status to the Anglophone.
You give the status of Amazonia was given a long time ago, Resolution 1608 of the United Nations General Assembly, February 1961. Why do you want to give it its special status today?
That argument does not hold.
It doesn't. Mm-hmm. Miriam, it doesn't.
Okay.
Give Amazonia a state. Period.
Okay, that is, I think, is very clear. Do we go to Nigeria now and look at the collapsed giant of Africa? And of course, in 2015, when Mr. Buhari was the opposition candidate promising a clean break from the past, he had never been democratically elected despite having tried 3 times earlier, and his public image as an outdoor, incorruptible disciplinarian was based on a 20-month stint as a military leader back in the 1990s. So when he came, he campaigned as a born-again Democrat, vowing to root out corruption, revive the economy, and defeat the Islamist Boko Haram insurgency. So these were the top agendas that Boko Haram had when he was being elected the first time, and even perhaps the second time. So he wanted to be a democratic person, and he said he will uproot corruption, and also he will revive the economy and fight Boko Haram insurgency. How do you think President Buhari has scored in this very important 4 points?
Boss, Madam Miriam, this is what I told General Abubakar in Zimbabwe in 2002. After the elections of 2002 between Changarai and Morgan Changarai and Mugabe, this dictator called General Abubakar, Mohammed Abubakar, came to announce the results of the Commonwealth Observer Team. I put up my hand in front of 7,000 people in Harare International Conference Center. I said, how can a man who overthrew a government, a democratically elected government, come to supervise a democratic election in Africa?
It's hypocrisy on another level.
Yes.
Nonsense.
So I said the results that General Abubakar was reading in Zimbabwe were corrupted. Results got, do you know from where? The results were got from the Commonwealth Secretariat. Who was the Secretary General? Who was the Secretary General of the Commonwealth the Nigerian. The Nigerian man was the Secretary General of the Commonwealth. Look at his background. Where is he linked? Which side of the war is he? Was he in 1967? I finished it. So to tell me that Mr. General Buhari will come to that democratic what? You have overthrown the governments twice. Then you want to become a leader, a democratic leader. Where no. But please, Africa.
He was calling himself a born-again Democrat.
Born what?
A born-again Democrat.
Why is he killing people? Why is he killing Igbo? He's killing the Igbo in the southeast. As we speak now, blood is flowing. We don't want to show this. We don't want to show these videos here. You have seen the videos they have sent us. They are live videos with Nigerian armed forces killing people. Instead of going to kill Boko Haram, they are killing their own innocent civilians.
That they should be protecting. All right, now, of course, the impoverished northeast western state of Zamfara has seen a sharp rise in kidnappings and killings linked to gangs, cattle rustlers, bandits, and vigilantes. And this is, I think, and also now an early indication that all was not well came in 2016, like I mentioned earlier there, when the First Lady Aisha Buhari told the BBC House of Service that a small clique had hijacked her husband's administration, assuming responsibility for presidential appointments. And Mr. Buhari responded to the criticism by saying that his wife belongs to the kitchen. And of course, that it was on BBC. That was not met very well and caused an uproar there. But it appears Buhari lost sight. Did he even have a plan of what he wanted to do when he became president? Because he mentioned there that he wanted to revive the economy, but you'll see the records there that the economy slid into recession during Mr. Buhari's presidency, dragged under by a sharp fall in the global price of oil and other factors. Of course, corruption playing such a huge role in the manner in which the economy in Nigeria has been suffering. So a lot there is happening, but we can say that all of these promises that Mr. Buhari had said when had promised before coming into office, I don't know how this has worked for him, because he said he'll fight Boko Haram. We've seen Boko Haram thrive under his leadership. He said he'll fight corruption. I mean, it is doing very well there in Nigeria. So I don't know, when he sits down and he just looks at his presidency so far, I don't know if he's able to sleep at night, because you should be worried if what you said you'll do, you're not able to do, unless you don't have a conscience as a person.
Exactly. George Soros is the most dangerous person to be in any country. Yes, we have a lot of, I don't know whether you have seen a lot of, today we have a very good watching from Nairobi, Kenya. We've seen a lot of people from Kenya. Thank you very much for watching. Hundreds and hundreds of Kenyans are watching.
Ivan Ngugi, thank you so much. You've been here and you've been commenting. Thank you so much.
John,
there's Mercy. Is it Mercy or Grace?
Yes.
Also, I saw her, but also Catherine Mwangi. Thank you so much. And others, the rest of our viewers. Chol Makor has been very active here together with Dominic Nwandu, and they've been having a fight here with somebody. Chol Makor.
Don't have a fight. Someone is asking, where did you get...
Not a bad fight. Just they've been arguing about South Sudan matter, so we let them. Thank you.
Someone is asking, where did you get... I have never got money to be where I am. This is a voluntary job I'm doing. I despite being in the world for 64 years, I'm able.
And Cosmos Akaloki here is saying tukondani sawa sawa. Thank you.
Asante sana.
Yes.
But in summary, the Kampala issue is, let's wait for ramifications.
From tomorrow.
Yeah. It's a shame. When you do things in Africa, plan about the consequences. You don't just go and plant things there, then you come back. It's a shame.
All right, so I think from tomorrow we might see some statements, perhaps from Makerere University itself, so that they can clear the air and tell us what's really going on.
Makerere University is very divided. In fact, the entire academic staff
is
not with the chancellor, the vice chancellor. This is a matter between President Museveni, the Vice Chancellor, and the visitor.
Okay.
And that's what they are going to do. They are making sure that the decision is rescinded.
All right.
I'm sorry, it is not me.
It's the administration.
Have you ever heard of this song? It's not me.
It wasn't me.
It wasn't me.
Yeah.
I was not there. I'm not there. I have nothing to do with Uganda. I'm also equally hated man. So these are some of the things. But what I've heard.
You really love that song. It was sung by Mr. Shaggy.
It's not me.
It's called Shaggy. Yes.
It's not me.
Wasn't me.
It wasn't me.
It's not me.
Thank you very much, Miriam. Tomorrow, I think that topic is very clear. Yes. Stephen can make it so that we can have it tomorrow. He's not here tomorrow, is he?
Yes, indeed. But we shall be having.
We can have that topic tonight. Where does opposition in Africa get the money? Let it be one topic.
Tomorrow. All right.
Good morning, Africa. We are back tomorrow. Myself and my Miriam.
Yes.
We have our Christmas.
Yes. Tomorrow come with one of those shirts. Christmas is just
2 days
away.
Oh yes.
So you need to see the jingle bells.
Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell.
And the snowman.
Santa Claus is coming the way.
Santa Claus, it's Santa.
Oh, is it Santa Claus or Fanta?
Well, Santa has come.
Fanta. I used to call it Santa Claus. So my father said it's not Santa Claus. It's Santa Claus, is it?
Did he ever visit your village when you were younger?
No, they used to take us. You know, in 1963, my father brought me to witness the Kenyan independence.
Oh, he did?
In the bus, yes. We came by OTC.
Oh, yes, OTC. I remember OTC. I actually rode on OTC when I was younger. Yes.
The amount was 8 shillings. Wow. 8.70 return ticket. I remember Daddy, may your soul rest in peace, Baba. You did a great job. You know, we came all the way looking at what we had read. You know, I'd read this book of Mutabingwa. Is there anybody out there who read Mutabingwa in English? The English text as Mutabingwa. How Mutabingwa drove his car to Kabete, through here, Tanzania, Mwanza, Baka, Uganda. Mutabingwa. Oh, so we came all the way from Malaba. When you reach up Limuru, those lakes, you know, there's water. Those river, those small lakes, inland lakes, they had water. People have just drunk this water.
It's climate change.
No, people have, of course, we call it drunk. They used to be lakes. Now, when you come, the night bus arrives in the morning, and when you are on top of that hill,
I know that hill.
You see Nairobi. You can see the lights. Then you know, hallelujah.
You've arrived.
And they could serve us coffee.
Inside the bus?
No, oh yes. The bus conductor was in uniform. The turn boy was in uniform. The driver was in uniform. There were 2 places in Eldoret town. There is a restaurant where the UTC bus could stop, called Wagon Station Hotel. It was a colonial hotel. That's where you go in and jump in. Cups were very big mugs. Then you buy tea. 10 cents. A very good, with a loaf. Mukate. My father brought me to see the flag.
He knew what he was doing.
Yes, of course.
He planted that seed in you, so it's really germinated well. It's flourishing. Yes, Cholmakoro, that place is Limuru.
So when you see Nairobi, UTC bus used to be on time. Whether there are people who booked to go to Nairobi, Nakuru, they are there or not, it is supposed to leave, it leaves. The seat of the passenger who has not come remains empty up to Nairobi.
It's the same with Easy Coach, I think.
The seat remains empty. That was the life.
Very organized.
Then Daddy decided, let's not go back by bus. Let's go back by East African Railways. That locomotive from Mombasa.
That must have taken a whole week. How long was that?
No.
Kisumu was 12 hours.
Yeah, to Malaba, it took Tororo station. It took us 14 hours.
From Nairobi.
Yeah, from Nairobi.
Okay.
Very nice. Very beautiful, slender ladies serving tea. Tall. Hello. Things have gone.
Well, you just lost me there, but...
Beautiful, slender ladies.
Okay.
Yeah, the slender ones. You can't be employed when you are huge. The train has very little space. You remember Martin Shikuku moved the motion in Kenya Airways? You remember? That the aeroplane is not for only traveling. It's for the eyes also to see what is inside. So the Shuji ladies who used to be in Kenya Airways were removed. Thank you very much, viewers. Tomorrow, our show is, where does opposition in Africa get the money? And of course, we shall touch the legacy of President Uhuru Kenyatta, failures, success. What has the government achieved so far? What can be done and what can be improved? Thank you very much, Miriam. Over to you. Finish it up.
Thank you so much, Cosmas Kaloki, Chol Makor, Godfrey Nyapoto, Dominic Nwandu, the rest of you, Tap Dak. I see a lot of you there. Thank you so much for engaging with us today. Let's meet here tomorrow, 11 a.m. East Africa time, for another edition of Good Morning Africa. Bye-bye for now.